Johnnie, here I want you to join the crusade. I've watched you. You know, I've watched you. Sometimes our people disagree with you, but I mean, I understand some of your approach. I mean, sometimes we take a hard bite. It helps us as politicians.
Nowadays, when I listen to you, I even panic.
Why?
Maybe, hey,
Why do you panic?
The way you, Papa, you know Papa, what you used to fan charcoal.
Right.
You've seen it before.
Right.
When you fan it, then the charcoal goes bright red.
This is a call for accountability.
You fan government's charcoal. It's bright red.
It's a call for accountability.
I enjoy it.
No, I think literally and figuratively, he bites as hard as he can.
Okay.
And of course, when he puts his fangs into you, you certainly feel it. I think it pricks the conscience very quickly and sharply. So certainly a fantastic avenue for a great editorial, and one that literally wakes us up.
This our society,
Correct.
and it will take me and you to do it. That's why I always watch Johnnie's Bite.
The general watches Johnnie's Bite.
Every day.
Thank you very much.
And I is devoid of insults, but straight to the point, factual and fearless.
What he seeks to do is to bring attention to some of the ills or some of the problems that we have, and even though it's often very spicy, I was telling him that he could add some ketchup on the side.
Oh, you should add some ketchup. It's too hot for you, eh?
Too hot.
I don't get surprised when people criticize you, but I think you are doing a good job.
Thank you, sir.
And don't at all think about what people will say. Continue with the objective work that you are doing, and definitely it will help this nation, because you are not doing it for yourself, but what Ghanaians cannot say is what you are saying.
Charlie, no be joke.
You know
the pressure people like Johnnie can give you.
No.
You know, get grey hair, you go get grey hair.
I'm innocent.
And that's what I'm saying, that the pressure Johnnie and his people, the pressure they can give you, you know, get grey hair, you go get. So your best bet is not to have hair.
Bismillahir Rahman Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen Hasbanallahu wa ni'mal wakil. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runneth over, and surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I'll dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Johnnie's Bite. The multiplicity of this country's issues, and when the president said we should sing praise and worship, I'm not sure that the president is still in touch with the reality. A gallon of diesel is more than 100 cedis. A gallon of fuel is what it is. Yesterday I bought fuel. The gauge didn't move up. I drove back to the filling station, topped up. It still didn't go up. Just around GBC. But I want to say big shout outs to all those who were Johnnie's Bite unfailingly. Apologies to those who have received queries for going to work late. For those who have had to leave home late and all of that, I apologize to you. But know that we are in this together. We are the leg of state. We are not the head of state. VALCO is still down. I spoke to you about VALCO. And I told you about the issues that we're facing. I told you about the demonstration. I told you that the plant had been shut down. And I mentioned to you some other issues. And Joseph Armstrong had gone there. We had showed you actual pictures. And Oliver, you'll have to use more of the pictures. But first, give me the statement. But VALCO has written. And we will get into what VALCO had written. And then also, exclusively, we'll share some new information with you. So this is VALCO. VALCO says the Volta Aluminium Company Limited, 2nd November. It says management of the Volta Aluminium Company, VALCO, has observed within a section of the media reports circulating an alleged tension brewing at VALCO following the decision by some of our workers to demonstrate against management. They say there's no tension, but the place is shut down. The reports, among other issues, indicated that the Ghana Great Company Limited has cut power supply to the company and also alleges that management of VALCO has given deaf ears to complaints from workers asking for an increment in their salaries. We wish to state firmly that the allegations are untrue and wish to set the record straight by stating the facts of the issues as follows. 1. Planned shutdown of VALCO smelter. VALCO's board of directors, conscious of the strategic significance of the smelter to His Excellency, the President's ongoing integrated aluminium industry. And you see clearly that this is praise and worship, so that people are kept at post. Fully discussed at this last meeting the likely negative consequences on the project in particular, and Ghana's accelerated economic development in general, and charge management to ensure that Ghana does not lose the smelter in the event of any agitations that would occasion an unplanned shutdown. Following the unannounced takeover of the smelter on Monday, October 31 by some workers, management took the decision in line with the board's directive to immediately work with GRIDCO as a matter of urgency to take down the line in an orderly fashion to save it in order to allow for a smooth restart as soon as possible. I'll tell you something shortly. This is in sharp contrast to reports circulating in the media that GRIDCO, following an order from above, has cut power supply to the company following a protest by workers of VALCO against management. We wish to also state emphatically that it will not cost VALCO about $100,000 pot in shutting down and $10 million in restarting the plant. Rather, it is to prevent such occurrences that management opted for the controlled halt in its operations. So while the smelter is down, are we not losing money? Is that what the people are saying? Wow. Workers reject 22% salary increment. It must be stated clearly that the workers, after a series of negotiations led by the union executives, made an initial demand of 62% salary increment to the management of VALCO and subsequently reduced it to 55%. In response, the management of VALCO offered to grant a 22% increment in salaries for the workers with the assurance of further increments in the future as VALCO continues its efforts in finding strategic investor to retrofit the plant. Management of VALCO appealed to workers to consider the current state of aluminium smelter, which for years has been recording losses until the year 2021, where through prudent management and better supervision, chalked some modest gains, recording earnings before interest, tax depreciation and amortization profits. According to management, they are hoping to build on this and retrofit and modernize the plant to improve efficiency and increase its capacity. Management of VALCO further indicated to the worker unions executives that will, on November 1, 2022, finalize a communique for submission to the National Labour Commission for independent third-party education in accordance with law for after negotiations between management and workers ended up in a stalemate. However, the workers would have none of this, and on October 31, 2022, embarked on a full-blown takeover of the smelter, insisting that they will not allow the executive management into the plant. When you agree with people to pay them a certain amount and you give them the CD equivalent of 5.9, when the dollar has gone past 12, it's 13 CDs and more, they will have a problem. Workers demand to peg salaries at United States dollars. The workers, led by their union executives, made this demand during the negotiation period, insisting on having their salaries pegged to the US dollar as of the last salary adjustment on September 1, 2022. But the parties, that is management and the workers, were unable to reach an agreement and declared a deadlock on Friday, October 28, 2022. It is significant to clarify that the salary of the Ghanaian worker is not indexed in the US dollar, but our national currency, the Ghanaian cedi. Thus, the demands from the workers to have their salaries pegged to the US dollar is untenable, must be disregarded. You sell everything in dollars. And when you have to sell locally, you sell at the London exchange rate. So that's why they're asking the question. If you sell everything in dollar, do the needful. Now, we however recognize that both internal and external factors may cause an appreciation or depreciation of the cedi to the US dollar and other foreign currencies, a situation that may impact the salary of workers from time to time. It is for this reason that there exists a collective agreement between VALCO and the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union to meet periodically and, depending on the exigencies of the period, agree on the quantum of salary increase for the period. Continuous stay of experienced staff. This is let the retirees go. Listen carefully. It's that we wish to state that the decision to allow some staff whom we consider very experienced and knowledgeable in the running of the highly technical field and a strategic plant at the VALCO smelter and a continuous stay was deliberate and tactful. They may have attained the retirement age, that's admission that the people are old and they have to go, but have not retired yet as they have been engaged legally on contractual basis, a situation that is not peculiar to VALCO but adopted in special situations. They are drawing other people in by several private and public institutions. It doesn't make it right, especially when the services of such persons are needed in the specialized fields. Their continuous stay in their respective positions has not only helped to impart knowledge, but led to a positive turnaround of the company. We'll hear from the union. It bears repeating that VALCO for close to 12 years has been recording losses until the year 2021, where through the support and leadership of the experienced staff, cherished and hardworking employees, coupled with the immense support from the government, recorded as earnings before interest, tax depreciation, and amortization profit. We are deeply indebted to all our employees, including these experienced staff, for their services and personal sacrifices to stay on during those turbulent phases, a decision that is beginning to bear fruit. So they were there when you were declaring losses. However, the VALCO board last year, 2021, initiated a succession plan, which is already being implemented and is expected that some of these experienced staff, some, not all, some, under contracts will start exiting by the close of year 2022. Conclusion, we wish to assure our stakeholders, workers and the general public to remain calm as the board management continues to dialogue with Labour to find a resolution to the impasse and to ensure that there is no threat to life and property. VALCO remains an integral part of President Akufo-Addo's vision, again, is praise singing, of developing an integrated aluminium, all of that. Now, signed by Dr. Henry Benya, he is chairman of the board, and Dane Champon, who is one of the 67-year-old who has to go. Oliver, play the video of the staff saying, give it to Johnnie Hughes. Play the video.
Johnnie Hughes.
They said they should give it to Johnnie Hughes, not any other. You've seen other media houses, after we broke it on Johnny's Bites, they are rushing there. But the people say, Johnnie Hughes, give it to Johnnie Hughes on Johnny's Bite. It's the people's bite. Because they know we get results. Or say, Fadienuma Johnnie Hughes. So this is fresh. Nobody has this. No media house has it. 3rd November. Fresh release. No media. It's from the union, VALCO Local Union. It says, VALCO Local Union strongly believes that management's response rather pollutes the air than clearing it. Strong-worded release from the union. It says the local union wishes to issue this rejoinder quickly in order to erase the misrepresentation of the facts as put out by management in a desperate attempt to save its face from the shame it has brought to the dreams of Ghanaians at this critical time, and especially to the efforts of His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana. Praise singing. Mahatma Gandhi once said, I am not anti-English, I am not anti-British, I am not anti any government, but I am anti-untruth, anti-humbug, and anti-injustice. We would have kept quiet, as always, to the untruth and the injustice management and assisted by the board tried visiting on the nation at this crucial time of our lives. We are pained that instead of properly superintending over a strategic national asset like VALCO smelter, just a few people can take decisions that will dash the hopes of thousands, if not millions. We would like to set the real record straight. Okay, 1. Planned shutdown or shutdown of the VALCO smelter. For the first time, we have seen how the CEO and the board have abused the word planned. We call on the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources to immediately begin investigations into the incidents of Monday, the 31st of October 2022. On our part, we are more than convinced that there's absolutely evidence of workers' activities that threaten the existence of the smelter. On the said day, we had operatives of the National Investigations Bureau on the plant site. The presence of the Ghana police, which was ubiquitous. The city mayor of Tema and his team came around in the evening. The Director General of Operations of the Ghana Police Service was there himself to gather first. Hey, so BNI was there. There was Ghana Police. There was the mayor of Tema with his team. And then there was the Director of Operations of the Ghana Police Service. And they say the workers wanted to take over. How? Production was smoothly ongoing. It was on the same day that the Building 7 fires were even started after 4 years of inactivity. First line supervisors and regular management staff were busily working on that fateful day. In fact, with the presence of all these people, it will be insulting for Mr. Dane Champon to convince the whole nation that there was agitation on the plant site. The only evidence he can comfortably provide is that we stopped all retirees from entering the plant as a means of raising the red flag to the appointment authorities that they have become a problem and a burden to the plant rather than providing the requisite solutions. Let the retirees go, let the young grow. This is the first evidence of gross mismanagement, displaying of power, and absolute disregard for the lives of those who depend on the plant for survival. In truth, more than 98% of the 12 retired top management. They have 12 retired top management. I showed their pictures on Monday. 12. CEO is retired. Deputy CEO is retired. What do you call it? Head of IT, head of human resource, personal manager, all of them, they are there. More than 60 young people, you defending it. You don't have a job. Okay, now have only turned VALCO into cash cow and do not care about the survival of the plant once they have already scooped out all their investment and entitlement. As we speak, aside the board chairman and the CEO, everyone in VALCO cannot come to terms with the reality of actually taking power from the smelter only to carry out their threat of shutdown if we dare agitate on issues bordering our welfare as employees. The plant was shut down with emotions, and that is in caps. The plant was shut down with emotions. Management must now tell the whole world how it costs to revive itself. And that's a legitimate question. Causing financial loss to the state is important. Management should come clean. In their statement, they didn't tell us how much it was going to cost to revive itself. Whoever gave the order must pay for it. Frankly, only Dana Champion and the board chairman does not know it costs more than $100,000 US, which the statement dismissed, to bring the cell back to life. It also then stands to reason that all along they have been using concocted figures for us to advance their cheating enterprises. This again raises eyebrows to how our financial auditing system works. Something is not right with VALCO. This absurd and unpopular decision has caused financial loss to the state, and no matter whose axe is gored, justice must be made to prevail. 2. Workers reject 22 salary increment. Every violation of truth is not only a sort of suicide in the lie, but is a stab at the health of human society. Ralph Waldo Emerson's words might have been made for a day as this. Management's efforts to paint as in a certain way, a light to the public, is not only shocking but unthinkable. But we know that absolutely nothing can be done against the truth. The truth is, the local union having mounted a year-in, year-out campaign for the reinstatement of a popular compensation package known in VALCO circles as restoration, we again managed to successfully mount a spirited one through the offices of the HR director, the CEO, and the board chairman. Now, at the board, restoration is a wage compensation option, which is about the dollar-cedis relationship. Space cannot allow us to further throw more light on this, but we believe some have an understanding of the concept. I do. They are paying you 5.9 instead of the prevailing rate. Now, it should be understood that once management eventually accepted the restoration principle after a series of fights, then it should be implemented wholly without asking for removal of its head and limbs before you can pay. We argue that once we depreciate and amputate it, no longer qualifies as a living restoration but a dead one. Respiration is not an increment. It is a policy meant to help the worker maintain his purchasing power, especially in this turbulent economic crisis. Therefore, throughout our engagement, we have, I'm reading a rejoinder. We have never asked for increment as stated by management as in their desperation to do a PR work. Eventually, in our quest to make sacrifices to help the business, we agreed to move it to the original 67% to 55%. We expected that management will appreciate our gesture and help bring a conclusion to the processes, but rather they chose to throw a paltry 22% at us, insisting that is what they can pay and that we take it or leave it, and threatened to take us to the National Labour Commission, which they eventually succeeded in. Indeed, we would like not to take that from, what's it, Oliver? I don't like Ruffle. I don't like Rock, Oliver. Okay, which they eventually succeeded in. We'd like to not to take that from an employer. We work so hard to fill the kitty only for management persons to enjoy living, we the non-management staff in penury. This is wickedness when the least management person has a restorative single non-taxable salary component of 9,300 cedis as fuel allowance. 9,300 cedis, that's more than a professor's salary for the whole month as fuel allowance and car maintenance allowance. VALCO is for all Ghanaians and not just for a privileged few retired top management officers. 3. And I'm reading this because I read the full statement from VALCO. So let's hear the workers. Workers demand to peg salaries to the United States dollars. In 2010, 2012, 2014, VALCO used this concept for a wage adjustment. This is not a new concept that the workers are forcing down the throat of management. He himself restored us to the dollar in 2014 with a percentage of 30%. Additionally, it was restored in 2010. and 2012 by 28% and 18.4% respectively. No aluminium smelter pays less than $1,000 to its non-management employees. But what do we see here under Mr. Danechampo and his team of experienced staff? This heading can only be described as inhumane, wicked, and well-crafted to court public disaffection and anger for the very people to work to get the kitty filled. VALCO is a dollar-based enterprise. Our cost price, selling price, and profits are all quoted in the United States dollars. We buy and sell all our products abroad and rake in foreign exchange. Incidentally, our wage, which is found in the cost price, is equally in dollar. Why is management led by Mr. Danechampo bent on cheating forever? Should VALCO be all about they and their families alone? Question. Top management have maintained the white man's case compensation package, but would stop at nothing to see us suffering while we work as oxen for them. The allegations of financial malfeasance and stealing at the top level must be investigated also to save the nation. Countrymen and women, only God knows why they are refusing to go. Continuous stay of experience time. This is my favorite part. It said the attempt to justify the continuous stay of the famous group of retirees as experience and the subsequent defense is untenable and not convincing to anyone, to say the least. Experience is gotten when one is exposed to the work over a period of time. The local union cannot pinpoint any special skill of this group of people that cannot be transferred to anyone within the space of at least 4 years. No visible succession plans, recruitment of their relations to the top management slots, blocking of access to higher positions of those supposed to rise through the ranks are some of the only visible achievements of their continuous stay in office. How is it that the company can easily and immediately buy SUV vehicles for retired persons they employ as directors, but find it difficult to even grant salary advance for workers who direly need it? The same CEO who says VALCO has not made a peso of profit since 2011 during the inaugural ceremony of the 2022 wage opener is now reporting of EBITDA profits to make case for his experienced staff. Character, they say, is like pregnancy. It is untrue to attribute the profits to their continuous stay. What then have they been doing since retiring from 2013 to the 2021 where the profits came? What were they doing within that period? Declaring losses. We appreciate your service to the nation and we are grateful. It is now time to bow out to reduce the heavy financial stress and yoke your continuous stay in office is causing to the company. You can become consultants, but hanging on as regular employees is not a welcome idea. Mr. President, as a result of this reckless and needless shutdown, we are losing averagely 122 metric tons of aluminium daily, which is equal to $36,600. It will take a long time to recover the lost 127 cells. We believe that Ghana has principled Ghanaians and a local union's opinion if a bipartisan committee as soon as possible to look into the matter. We must save VALCO now. Hashtag signed Edgar Tete, local chairman, and Mark Douglas Manfo Mensah, local union secretary. Good morning to you, Office of the Special Prosecutor. The VALCO plant was shut down. VALCO plant was shut down. Good morning to you. IGP, good morning to you. Head of CID, good morning to you. Head of NIB, good morning to you. Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Deputy, you went there. Mrekuduka, you went there yesterday to meet them. You couldn't conclude. I have the information. Mayor of Tema, you went there. You couldn't conclude. I have the information. You have to look sharp because we are begging IMF for dollar. We have a company that can generate dollar. We are keeping the retirees at post. Old people's brigade. That's what we are interested in. Young people are hungry. Old people are feeding. Why? Good morning.